Okay, I think you should be able to hear me now. Sound should be on. If you guys could, please confirm in the chat that you can hear me. I would really appreciate it. Just realized I had the wrong mic on in my system, so we should be all good to go now. I think we should be all good to go. I'm just going to confirm here. Okay. Okay, there we go. Sound is good now. Thank you very much, Tony. Perfect. Thank you very much, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Bojan Petreski. Go by Bo, easier to say and remember. We'll be doing a live Futures Now session today. Intraday trading, as we're seeing here in the chat in the PowerPoint. Before we get started, as usual, the following videos, clips, and demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Tradictive provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all content used in this video is purely for demonstration purposes only, is not a guide, and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through the demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive on using our products. That is just the standard disclaimer that we always do. Um, Today, and by the way, guys, let's just, just wanted to kind of go over a couple things here. So, as you see, my name is right here. My email is right here as well, boyan@tradictive.com. If you have any questions, comments, anything that you want to share with me, please feel free to use this email right here, whether it's for this session or some other subsequent questions you may have. But also, I would encourage you to use this tradewithufos.com /Boyan, because this is a very interactive way to kind of get some answers on maybe some of the questions that, hey, you're not sure. Maybe there's something that you need to just a review with me, or perhaps it's something that, hey, might be as simple as, hey, what time frame did you use, or how did you come up with this time frame that you're using on the instruments that you're using right now. So please do check out this tradewithufos.com /Boyan. It is a very interactive website. It's a very interactive way to kind of find out some more information about the Trade with UFOs and everything that we do here. All right, so without much more further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so what we have in front of us right here is our beautiful TradeStation, right? Well, for those of you that are familiar with everything that we're doing here, this is our kind of bread and butter workspace here, right? This is where we get started from. This is the first kind of starting point, and that's the power of this platform that we're using, is that we can start here as opposed to starting straight into charts and figuring out, hey, what are we going to do today, right? So as you may or may not be aware, these are some very, very interesting times, especially some of the most recent news coming out. Obviously we had the U.S. election here in the U.S., but also this morning, I saw that Pfizer is actually showing some positive news for a potential COVID-19 vaccine. So the market is just on a complete tear. I mean, it is just absolutely explosive parabolic movement, which a lot of times will give us opportunities. Sometimes it's maybe best if we stay out of its way and let it normalize a little bit and then go from there. But we're going to approach this the same way that we always approach it, which is we're going to look at opportunities that, number one, make sense, right? Something that is sensible. That's the first thing, right? We're trying to avoid hopeful, right? As we see here on multiple of these instruments here, right? The YMRTY, GC, the ES, and even the Euro contract are all in the hopeful territory. So we're going to try to avoid them. We can open them up just to see if there's any, potential opportunities that could come up where, for example, if something is getting a little bit overextended, then you can kind of fall back and say, okay, well, in the next 15-minute interval, I'm going to be aware of what's going on with these instruments and kind of have my final target set in place, because this could change in the next 15 minutes, right? It could become, because look at what's going on with gold, right? Gold on the 15-minute time frame right here It is currently on the 22nd 15-minute candle out of typically 4. All right, so talk about extreme overextension. So what could happen there? So what could happen there is this could start, trading above the 9 moving average, which is what we use once we open up the charts. But also the climate could detect like, hey, this is finally at its end. So this could become from a confirmed to an unconfirmed climate in approximately 7 minutes from now. And not just that, but it could actually become a blue color climate, meaning a sensible long, or rather a long climate. Whether or not it's sensible will depend on where it is in its propagation. But the biggest thing here right now that we need to see and that we need to understand is that we need to have a permission, not just to look at these charts, but we need to have a permission to even open up a chart. And that's what this is doing right now. This exact screen that we're looking at right in front of us is we're asking for permission, like, market, please give us permission to look at something. Okay, that is the power of having a permission-based system. And as we see right here, we're looking at the NQ on the 15-minute time frame. It is a sensible short, and it is the first candle out of typically 4. So what does that mean? That means we have permission to, and look at that. It's starting to flash. So let's go ahead and open up our Nasdaq workspace. And where are you, NQ? There you are. Okay, so are you guys following so far with me? I know it might sound like really, bizarre if you're listening to it for the first time when somebody tells you you need to have permission to open up a chart. But trust me when I tell you, when you train yourself to be absolutely adamant where you will not do anything without a permission, you are going to get a long way. And oh my God, I believe we already have a trade, or no? Oh no, we don't. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm glad that this is the case because, if this UFO was going to be the entry UFO, as you see, it's already gone and filled. Okay, so is the condition, sorry, Tony, just reading a question right now. Is the condition column set to default time frame or is it calibrated to the edge time frame? In other words, did you adjust the 60, the 8? So the climate is actually based on the 15-minute or the 60-minute, as you see here. You see up here, it says 15-minute climate, and then the interval right here, 15 minutes on all of these, 60-minute on all of these, and 240-minute on all of these. So we do calibrate it based on the common time frame. That's the one that we're taking the climate from, right? We want to have the climate be something that almost everybody else, when they look at it, and they say, okay, this is looking like it's going up, or this is looking like it's going down. All right. So let's take a look at this Nasdaq trade. I mean, I'll tell you right off the bat here, we don't have a trade, but again, it's also kind of a crazy moving market as well, right? I mean, looking at this, it's unbelievable. There is opportunities to trade here, but look at what's happening in the matrix here, right? We're just bouncing, not in ticks, we're bouncing in points. Okay, so if you're not okay with trading in this type of environment, this type of volatility, please, do sit on your hands. That is a form of trading. You're preserving capital. So please stay away if that's not your forte. Okay, so let's take a look at this and analyze it, because what could happen is we may see a new UFO form, and right there, as I'm speaking, we may see a new UFO form that could give us a potential entry. In this exact scenario right here, I'm almost positive that we will not have a valid entry because of the following, right? So the way that we trade this is right here, right? We're looking at the moving average, 12,160.6, right? So we need to have a UFO somewhere around this 12,160 area. Now, price is, about 60 points away. So what does that mean, right? So in this scenario, we do see that we do have 12,260 all the way up here from 12,244 to 12,260. That's the nearest UFO. But down here at 160, we got nothing. Okay, looking at this following one, 12,160, we don't have anything here either. So what does that mean? there's a good chance that this will not result in a trade as of right now. But what could happen is, price could kind of go sideways here and then pop up. And this 12,200 could work, right? It just depends on what price is going to do, in the next couple of hours or so, because as price goes sideways, so does it pull the moving average with it. So if it pulls it low enough, then maybe one of these new UFOs that form around here and get filled as we look at this market could work. But as of right now, at this 12,160, and you see I'm kind of putting a bigger square around it, so that could go as far as 1270, could be as low as 1250. We do not have a UFO to go on right now for a short opportunity, because as we're seeing here, it is the climate is a sensible down climate by looking at this confirmed red dot below. All right, so that's the setup that we're looking at right now. Just to be prepared, just to kind of have an idea of, hey, what is going on here? What is the next step should we have a trade? So we're going to open up this, larger time frame, even though, 15-minute may not seem like a lot. You see what is happening with this market. It is not moving in ticks. It is moving in points, and sometimes in multitude of points. It's just going, haywire, right? It's crazy. So we need to be prepared just in case we get filled. And the way we prepare is just by having, by knowing exactly where our final target will be. The way we do that is we open up this time frame over here, the 15-minute time frame, and we're seeing that the first opposing UFO is down here, is starting at 11,951.75. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a horizontal here, right here, 975.75? I don't think so. I already forgot the number. No, it was 11,951. 11,951. So 11,951.75 is our T2. And I'm just going to mark it very visually here so we can all see it, we can all understand it. So should we be getting in a short, our final target is going to be all the way down here at 11,951.75, the start of the first kind of larger time frame opposing UFO. Okay, we're just going to leave that there. We're going to let it stay there and see what's going on. As we see, this market is generating unfilled orders, filling them, moving around. It's kind of going crazy. That is expected given the current conditions in the world, not just our U.S. market, in the world itself, right? I mean, the rest of the world was also pretty high up in the positive today, because number one, there's the expectation is if we do get this COVID-19 vaccine, that's extremely positive news, not just for the financial markets, but for the world as a whole. Right, and then on top of that, the assumed one election by the presidential election that we had here by Joe Biden is also viewed as a positive event. And I'm not trying to get into politics here. I'm just telling you what the world is viewing the assumed election results that we're seeing here. Correct. Yes, Tony. Yes. So it's set to the radar screen is set to the default. It's not adjusted to the edge time frame because, again, just to clarify, the edge time frames are these three above, right? So the edge time frames are these three above: the 2-minute, the 987 share bar, and the 610 tick bar, which all of these happen to be fib numbers. The common time frame is the one that we utilize for the climate, and that is the one down below here. Okay. All right, so here we go. We got another pretty decent pop of 20-something points as we're looking at this, as we're talking about this, and as you see, it's 1258 is the moving average, so it's still kind of far. We did have an update. Now it's the second down candle out of typically 4.3 here, which is 5. Again, nothing nearby to do here. So we're going to go ahead and let this slide. We are prepared for it just in case this pops into the 160s and 70s and then it shoots down and leaves us a UFO. Then we will have a valid entry. In the meantime, Let me know how it's going so far. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. And as we see, we have a few more opportunities to look at here. All right, so a couple of more things to see here. So what do we have that's in a sensible? So we're seeing that crude oil is actually in a sensible short climate right now, but it is unfortunately unconfirmed. Now, we'll see how we're looking with the rest of the markets, but as long as it's sensible, I'm okay with opening it because we can anticipate in the next, 12 minutes that we might have an update. So let's see what else do we have here. So we have a sensible short on the Nasdaq on the 60-minute time frame. All right, so on the 60-minute time frame, let's go ahead and open that up. Let me just quickly. I don't believe I have that already adjusted, but let me just double check here. I think I may have it. Yes, I should. Yep, here it is, the NQ 60-minute time frame. We're gonna go ahead and get this adjusted and opened up here. There we go. Let's go ahead and open this one up. The 60-minute time frame is giving us a sensible short. It is, half an ETR away, which is not bad at all. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what it will give us. Okay, so we can see if we may have some sort of potential entry on the 60-minute time frame, which again, please understand this is the 60-minute time frame, right? So the 60-minute, obviously moves a little slower. Therefore, we have the 8-minute time frame up here on the edge, the 25.84 on the share, 15.97 on the tick. And for this one, the 610 and 377, we're actually going to use as the reactive time frames. So let's go ahead and take a look and see if we have something here. Off the first look right now, I don't think we do. You may notice that this UFO 12,195.75 is here, which kind of coincides with this moving average. But unfortunately, 195.25 is basically at the very end of this UFO. So it is not going to be a valid one. Because again, it's all the way, we need the moving average to kind of help us put these orders in. And this ending at 12,195.75, I mean, as this pushes in, it basically misses the UFO. The moving average misses the UFO. So we're not going to go ahead and take that. Additionally, this is the last candle, the fifth out of typically 5 on the 60-minute. So, we also have a little bit less probabilities in our favor when we're looking at this setup right here. So as of right now, we're going to have to pass on this. Given that this is a much slower moving climate, I'm just going to go ahead and close this workspace. I'll still keep the 50-minute time frame one open just in case we have something here. Okay. This is actually very close to it. So 112,159 is the top of it. The average, the moving average is just above it. I mean, look at that. Now it's at 1258. I mean, this is, it's a bit crazy, but it's just missing it. Same thing with the 60-minute time frame. It is just missing it. So unfortunately, we're not going to take this either, right? We need to have a proper permission, not be just close enough, right? We have to be, we have to follow our system to the T, right, guys? We can't be just, just close enough just so we can get a trade in because we see this market moving. That's a really fun way, and fun being the kind of sarcastic word here. It's a really fun way to blow up an account. Okay, we don't want to do that, right? We want to be risk managers, not risk takers when it comes to these setups. And right now, we will not be managing our risk properly if we take that setup. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Maybe a different instrument here. So that's quite far, 1.7. I mean, let's go ahead and open up the EC on the 60-minute time frame just to see if there's anything that we could potentially take here. Okay. and find out if there is a potential setup that we could look at for the euro contract on the 60-minute, which again, it also had a quite the oh, that's the ECU. I'm like, wait a minute, that's why. Let's go ahead and open this up with the proper contract, ECZ 20. And the way you know it is the right or the wrong contract is by doing something as simple as going to barchart.com and just looking at, futures most active energies or currencies in this scenario, because we're looking at the euro contract. This is a very simple website that I would say is very easy to use, very kind of quick and user friendly. So as you see, the E6, which is the floor traded symbol, the E6Z, or in TradeStation ECZ or Z, depending on where you are. 20 is the Euro spot forex, the Euro FX futures tradable symbol, right? For the yen, it's the same thing. They're all on the Z contract still. The volume is still there. 203,000 basically traded this morning already. So that's what we have open here, ECZ20. Now the advantage here is the following. We're on the second 60-minute candle out of typically 7, right? So we're not late to this party by any means whatsoever. The moving average being at 1868.3, we need to see if we do have any UFOs around that area. So 68.3, being basically closer to the 70 range, I would say this UFO will work here. Looking at this following one, the same thing right here. This UFO should work over here. And 18 says, so this 725 to 745, this one might get missed, but it's good that it is here, right? It's good that we're seeing it here. So in this exact scenario, we do have an actual setup. So what do we do now, right? How do we enter this trade? What do we take it on? Do we take the most aggressive one, the one starting down here at 18,615? Do we take the little less aggressive one, the one starting somewhere around this 18,695, for example? And I think this one is probably, around the same. So given the fact that these two UFOs are here, I'm actually going to go ahead and take these two as my entry UFO. So these kind of together right here, which as you see, they're the same exact UFOs on two very different time frames, which are the 987 share bar and the 610 tick bar, right? So these are both our edge time frames. They have almost exactly the same UFOs. They're ending at the exact same spot. This one's beginning a little lower, the higher concentration of those unfilled orders being a little lower. So what are we going to do? Well, let's go ahead and set this trade up. And the way how I'm going to do that right now is actually, so 6E, Euro FX futures. I'm going to just kind of go side by side here and just pull up TradingView in order to calculate our risk, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So what do we say our entry is going to be? So we're going to take this 1725, right? We're going to take this 610 tick bar. The beginning price being at 18,745. So that is going to be our entry, 18,745. Let's just go ahead and write this out. 1.18745 is the entry. Okay. Our stop is going to be right above. We can do 2 ticks above, 1 tick above. I typically do 2, especially on the euro. So that's going to be at 1.18755. That is going to be our stop here. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at that and see what that gives us for the risk profile here on this trade. So we're going to do a limit. We're going to sell the 1.18745. Okay, and we're going to do 2 contracts, right? A minimum of 2 is what we do. You can do whatever you have a tolerance for in your trading account, depending on what the risk will be. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to put in this stop loss at 18,755. Wait a minute. 18,745 and 18. Wait, that's not right. Sorry. Our beginning price is at. Oh, here we go. That's why I'm like, wait a minute, something doesn't add up here. 18,685 is our entry. I'm like, hold on a minute now. Yeah, so 18,685 is our entry. 18,685. I'm like, something didn't. 685 is our entry. Okay. Always good to verify these things, right? 18,685. And with the stop being at 18,755, you know, we have a overall risk of 175 bucks, right? And that's because we have two units. If we have one unit, it is 87.50. But because we have two, right, we're going to do a safety target, and then as well as, oh, this is not the, why did it show up the 6E? Should be the December contract. There we go. So we're going to, again, sell at 18,685. And we're going to have a stop loss of 18,755, right? So it's 685. We're going to do two units, and the stop loss being at 18,755. We're also going to do a take profit 1-to-1, right? That's the first one. And we have it written here as well. So an 18,615 will be our first T1. So T1 is 118,650 is our T1. I'm just writing it out here, guys, just to make it, you know, very visual, so there's no, you know, no confusion, no anything about it. And this is a 60-minute time frame setup that we're looking at, so it's not like it's going to run away from us. We got some time to do this properly. Okay, so there we have it. So we're going to go ahead and, so I don't know why this does that. So 685. There we go. And this was 12. And this was 12 as well. Okay, and we're doing two units. 12 pips, 12 pips. All right, so there it is. 68.5, 68.5. 18,755 is good. That's good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and place this. All right, there we go. I'm also gonna go ahead and place this here. So we said cancel that. All right, so we said we're gonna do 685. A little scrolling. 685. There it is. Our stop, as we said, is going to be at 755. Our T1 down at 615. Now for our final target, as you know, we got to open up this chart, enable the auto UFOs, and see where our first opposing UFO is. So since we're going short, our first opposing UFO is a green UFO down here at 117,795. So right there is our T2. Just gonna, so 17,795. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this in. 1.17965 was it? Jesus. No. Let's do a quick data reload because I think I might have moved it. Just want to be as precise as we can be. Oops. All right. So 7795, right? So 7795. 795. There we go. All right. That's our T2. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with this one. Now, since I have, or I think I don't have it on this one, I'm going to enable chart trading here. And to make it easier, so instead of scrolling down on the what's it called, on the matrix, I'm just going to put this at 7795 down there. Okay, and there it is, 7795, 7795. We have our setup, we have our stop in place, we got our entry in place, we got our limit 1, meaning the safety target, and we got our T2 at 17795. Now, could this, could this fill today? Absolutely. The market's been going so kind of crazy that this could easily pop and pop down. Is this T2 going to get filled within the same day? Again, it's very much possible because this market has been going, a little crazier than usual because of some recent news that we spoke about earlier in the day. I'm just going to go ahead and put my trade in here as well for the limit. Again, I'm entering at 1.18685. And wait a minute, actually, since I'm doing this on TradeStation, I'm just going to go ahead and cancel it out here because I don't want both orders to get sent. And then it looks like 4 contracts. See that? Because I have it connected on TradingView and TradeStation. Canceling it from either one of these is going to work. So, it's a matter of which one you prefer. I prefer having it on my TradeStation. So I'm just going to go ahead and place it and leave it on TradeStation. So 18,685 is where we're going to have it. All right, and we said our stop is at 18,755, T1 at 615, and our final target was down at 7,795. All righty, 7,795. There it is. All righty. So we got that one set up, and we did just get some new updates on the climates. Let's see. So nothing on the. I was really kind of hoping this crude oil would turn around because, as you see, it is a sensible short, but it's still unconfirmed. But not just that, guys. Notice this right here as well. 8.8% up for the day. Okay, and this is from basically Sunday's open. So it's an explosive move up on crude oil. So it's no, we shouldn't be in a hurry to try to short this. But if our plan allows us to do so, then we should absolutely do it. Looking at NQ, as we see, and it kind of as suspected, you see it's right there on the moving average. No new UFOs have formed, therefore we're going to have to pass on this as of right now. Let's take a look and see if we have anything else out here in the 60 minutes. So we looked at the EC, GC. It's very late in the game for gold, mainly because it's on the 5th candle down, meaning the 5th hour down out of typically 6. And it's 3 ATRs away. So there's no way this is going to fill within, no way. It could fill, but it's extremely, extremely unlikely that it will. So we're just going to go ahead and pass on it. TY is kind of the same. The 10-year note is kind of the same thing. 5th. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here just so I can kind of go through these with you. So we have we have sensible shorts on multiple instruments. However, almost all of these, as you see, 5.6 out of 5, 5.57 out of 5, right? The only one that was really kind of enticing in this scenario was EC, which is the one we already set the trade up on, the trade on, right? So that's why we did that one, and that one is all set and done. This is hopeful, this is hopeful, this is hopeful, this is hopeful. So nothing to do there. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and start looking at the 240-minute climates. And in this scenario, being corn is the one that's already a sensible long, first out of 5, and it's very close to as far as the ATR is very close to the moving average. So let's go ahead and open up corn. I myself haven't traded corn in quite a bit of time. So let's go ahead and see what we get on corn. Now, corn being one of those instruments that, is a very seasonal product, right? So we need to And as you see, I don't even have it on a tradable symbol here. I just have it at C. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my bar chart just to see what is, because I honestly don't even know what is the contract that corn is trading on. Might already be on the Januaries or something. Nope, still on the December. Okay. So it is on the December, as we see, 114. That's where the volume is. So we're going to go ahead and put that on corn. So we're going to do we're going to do at CZ20. And there it is. Okay. So what do we have on our friend corn? 240-minute time frame says that the moving average is at 406.6. Okay, and we do have a UFO. Oops. We might have a UFO down here. Let's see where this lands. So it is starting exactly at 406. Now corn moves in eighths. So 406 being the starting price. Do we see? I think it's going to be too close. I think it's going to miss it. It's probably going to end up being right here somewhere around the 406, either 4/8 or 3/8. So it's going to miss this UFO, even though this is a a pretty substantial UFO you're looking at. Corn here. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to meet up with the moving average. As you see, it's already at 407 4/8. For it to drop down, a full point for almost actually a point and a half from this point at 407 4/8, for it to drop down, is it going to meet up at exactly 406? Meaning, for the price to go down exactly a point and a half, is the moving average going to go 0.7? Basically half that amount. I would say probably not. Depending on what the market does, right? If it kind of keeps going sideways like this, and then 4 hours, this being the, let me just take a look here. This being the, this closing at 11 essentially, which is another 2.5 hour and a half from now. Actually, I'm sorry, 2.5 hours from now. This could very well work. But as of right now, we do not have a setup. As of right now, this is it's going to miss this UFO by at least either 3 or 4/8, in my opinion. And given the fact that the corn actually closes quite a bit earlier than the other futures markets, there's no good chance. I would say there's no good probability that this will fill before we end this session today, which is, again, is in only 20 minutes from now. So we're going to go ahead and pass on corn, but I will save my workspace just so I know that the last time I looked at it, it was on the Z contract, on the December contract for corn. Okay, everything else is looking quite a bit. Okay, so here we go on crude oil. So sensible on the 240 minute. Looking at crude oil on the 240 minute here, 1.688 ATRs away, which crude oil could definitely move that in an instant, depending on what happens in the market. Will that happen in 2 increments of 4 hours? I would say it is a possibility. The reason why I'm kind of passing through some of these, obviously, the 240 minute on the euro is unconfirmed. Gold, these ATRs are quite substantial, so there's almost no chance that this will happen in the next 20 minutes, right? Unless some sort of explosive news comes out and everything goes haywire. But there might be a slight chance that this could happen within the same week. Within the same day, if not by tomorrow, for this crude oil trade. So let's go ahead and look at the crude oil trade on a 240 minute time frame and see if we might have some sort of a setup on crude oil on the 240 minute time frame. So let me go ahead and open that workspace up real quick. In the meantime, you guys have gotten a little bit silent in the chat. Please let me know how's it going so far. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free to type them in the chat. Okay, there we go. While I'm opening this crude oil 240-minute time frame, just to see how it's going. Okay, so the last time this one was open was, on the V contract. So we're gonna go ahead and get that changed over to at CLZ20. Yeah, so there's that parabolic move that we're talking about. I mean, this is just unbelievable. I mean, we're talking, this is over a $3,000 move, right? Because, and that's just rare. You don't really see that often, as you see right here. I mean, exploding all the way from 38 to $41. I mean, that is just unbelievable. And this happened in less than an hour, right? That this kind of move is rare to see. All right, so we're waiting on some data here. There we go. We got it. All right. So what do we have here? So we have, we're on the fourth. We're in the fourth up climate out of typically we're looking at here is 5. So we do have exactly 240-minute candles, right? So that's about 8 hours to, get in and trade with full position and try to take advantage of some of this move. Maybe, crude is just going to retest some of these areas over here and bounce off from there and keep going higher. We don't know. We can anticipate. We just need to make sure we're entering at the right place. And in this exact scenario, we are actually looking at these two UFOs as meeting the criteria for entry. So our criteria for entry, as we said, is making sure this moving average on this higher time frame, the common time frame that we're looking at, meets up with these UFOs on this edge time frame that we're utilizing. And as we see right here on this 67.65 share bar and the 41.81 tick bar, we are actually looking at these two UFOs as potential, valid entries, right? So in that scenario, let's go ahead and set this trade up, right? We're going to set this trade up, and I'm just going to utilize TradeStation right now. So we're going to see which one of these is a little bit on the more aggressive side. This one begins at 39.94, which, as you see, is already being enveloped by the moving average at 30. I'm sorry, wait a minute. Am I making a mistake here? 38. That is correct. That is 38.94, not 39.94. So 38.93. So about this 39 there. So that's going to be the potential UFO that could work. But I'll be very honest with you guys. I'm sorry, so I misread that because of the 8s and the 9s there. The moving average being at 38.93, that is going to work with this UFO down below here at 38.89 to 38.77. But actually, given the fact that the moving average is so far from current price, over $1.35, if price were to really start shifting down that hard, the moving average is also going to start, from it being here, is also going to move a little lower. So, a better place where these two might meet would actually be somewhere around here, this 38.44 to 38.33. Again, this is an 11 cent. This is an 11 cent UFO, right? It's $110 that we would be risking around here. Actually, it's probably going to be a little bit more than that. Let's see where it starts. So this begins at 38.50. It begins at 38.50. It ends at 38.50 to 38.33. So we're looking at 17. So that's about 170. That's $170 per contract that we'll be risking, or $340 if we're putting in 2, which is a valid entry. The problem is that, at least the one that I have right now, is that price is just so extremely far that by the time this drops, it could either meet it, depending on what kind of velocity that movement comes down as, right? If it's a kind of a step down, then there's a good chance that it will work. If it's a straight drop, then it's definitely going to miss it. It might be somewhere down here. Or if it just kind of zigzags around here and then finally decides to drop, well, then the moving average is also going to keep going higher. And then this higher UFO might work, or this one over here. So at this point in time, I don't think it's worth setting up this trade right now, because there's a good chance that it will have to be canceled um, for not meeting parameters and for not meeting the entry parameters, essentially. So let's go ahead and look at our climates again, because we just had an update on the 15-minute time frame. And as we see, NQ is still in near sensible short. And let's go ahead and see if we have something here. Okay, and I believe that we do. So I'm just going to freeze it. 162 is within this UFO, so there we go. We do finally have a trade on the NQ. I'm going to be a little more conservative here and enter right at this, at the higher concentration of orders at 12,156.5. Okay, but this is just moving so crazy right now. I mean, this is just unbelievable. So if I were to place this right here at 156.5, which, as you see, it's sometimes it's not even. There we go. My buy stop would actually have to be above this 72.5. All right, so the buy stop would have to be at 72.75. Oh, so that's quite a bit of ways away. So 72.5, 75 right there. That's our buy stop. Okay, so we're looking at, just kind of quickly doing the math on this. 172.75 minus 156.50, that's 1625, right? That's $650 risk on this contract here, right? That's just, it's excessive amount of risk. Obviously, the market already kind of tanked below, so we missed our entry here. The more aggressive entry would have gotten filled on this UFO, would have gotten T1 by now as well. But again, I would have taken this with a micro rather than with the mini contract, because it's just crazy moving times. If I was watching this a little bit more closely, we might have gotten filled. We would have been deep in the green right now, probably looking to move our stop pretty soon. But again, it could easily have done the opposite thing. It could have easily just shot back up. In this scenario, we're just observers, and that's okay. Being observers is not a bad thing at all. Okay, so that's that for this one. I mean, like I said, taking this with the micros might have been a better approach. I was a little bit on the more conservative side, going a little bit deeper into the UFO, right where it begins at the 156.50 area, right there. Right, so that would have been my entry. Again, given the fact that this is not moving in ticks, it is moving in points. We might have even been stopped out before we could have moved our stop. It's happened to me before. So sometimes it's better to put the trade in with the order bar, or maybe even on TradingView, just to kind of prevent yourself from experiencing either a stop out where a stop out shouldn't have happened, or maybe even get taken out for an early T1 where a T1 should not have been taken. So, but as you see, this market is just kind of, it's doing this thing. It's going a bit crazy. It is expected, I would say, given the fact of current market conditions. All right. So we looked at down here, we looked at the crude oil sensible long. Let's see if there's anything potentially else that we could look at. And unfortunately, even on these 240-minute time frames, as we see, ES being kind of closer, still pretty far. I mean, 1.5 ATRs is not exactly the closest, but this is all hopeful territory. So That being said, it's we could look at them, but unfortunately, there's a good chance that it will not give us any sort of opportunities right now. I do want to, since the only thing that we have this EC trade set up here. That's fine. This one we're going to close because that's going to be nowhere near anytime soon. I just want to go back to the NQ to see, because we could, because the UFOs are here, we could take this with the micros and, going down here with the more aggressive entry. We could definitely take this at 12,146.5. I'm just going to change this to at MNQZ20. Okay, I'm just going to change just the what's it called bar here, just the matrix, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in at 12,146.5. Okay. Now our stop, we said, is going to have to be a tick above this. Actually, is it 12,177.5? No, this is just outrageous risk anyway. 12,177.5 is actually within this UFO, so you would have to move your stop all the way above at 12,86.20, so 12,86.50. I mean, that is just incredible amount of risk. Again, we are risk managers, not risk takers, so I'm going to go ahead and just pass on this. It is too crazy of a day to trade the NQ. I'm going to go ahead and close it. I mean, you're seeing these types of movements. It is just absolutely insane today. We're going to leave it off with this, the Euro Z20 that we had set up here. This one is looking like a very valid trade still. We're going to go ahead and manage it properly as well. We're not going to just take it just for the sake of taking something. We're going to leave it on here. If the parameters change, we're going to have to change them ourselves, either cancel them or adjust them depending on what the movement of the market is. All right. We're kind of closing in on the top of the hour, guys. I just want to have a final look here just to see if there's anything else that might have developed here. Unfortunately not. I'm going to go ahead and open the crude oil trade because it is near sensible short, even though it's an unconfirmed climate. I'm going to go ahead and open it just to see what's going on with it. Just because, it's just a matter of, hey, if it does get confirmed and in 5 minutes time, the climate does change to confirm, then I don't want to miss out on a trade that I could have taken had I analyzed it properly ahead of time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, there we go. We are on the December contract. We are actually entering a UFO that is exactly on the moving average. So, there's two sides of this coin, I would say. This has already been touched once over here, as you see, and price did pull back from it. Oops. Price did pull back from it right here. So it did touch this UFO right there and has since, dropped down, right? It's kind of based over here, and now it's pulling back up. If it touches this darker circle in this area here, if it does touch this kind of darker circle right there, this UFO is going to disappear. And as you see, that's only a couple of ticks away, and there it is. It's gone. So unfortunately, we will not have a trade set up here. The moving average being at 40.55, current price being at 40.50. Unless we have a substantial drop from here and then a new UFO forms where we could have potential entry, then, that would be great. But as of right now, right there in front of our eyes, the trade did get invalidated. And unfortunately, that's just the case. Sometimes it does happen, right? That's just the way trading works, right? I wish we had a system that it is known as I wish we had a silver bullet type of system where you just open up a chart and just everything's waiting for you. Everything's right there in front of you. You just have to click the button and boom, it goes. But unfortunately, sometimes we see trades get invalidated right in front of our eyes, and you think to yourselves, wow, I'm wasting my time here. What am I doing? Well, unless you spend the time in front of the screen and you spend the time in front of the charts, you're not going to be able to be a part of this action when the trades are valid. So it's just a matter of a time before a valid trade develops. Perhaps the opposite will happen here, right? Perhaps right now we're looking to potentially short this, but what if this climate changes to a sensible long climate, and on top of that, right here in this area of basing here, perhaps we have a new green UFO show up, and then boom, we have a setup, we have an entry, we have our stops and our targets and everything in place, right? So what if that happens? Well, if you don't spend time in front of the screen, then you won't know if that would have happened or not, right? So it's just a matter of time before a proper setup develops in front of you. I wish we had a bit more setups to kind of go over and analyze and discuss, but unfortunately, that's the hand that we were dealt today, this morning, on this market. Again, if you got on board on some of these moves that happened earlier, then you're probably just you're already done for the day, right? You have absolutely no business in trading anymore if you've already caught some of this movement that was happening earlier in the day. If you haven't already, then it's completely fine just to letting it go today, because again, we're coming off a weekend that was just absolutely crazy, roller coaster of news and events happening. So that being said, folks, it's been my apps. It's a good day to be an observer. Exactly. That's exactly right, Tony. Thank you very much. It is a very good day to be an observer, to sit on your hands, not to throw away money. If you want to throw away money, I would say don't throw it away. Just simply donate it somewhere to some charity or something. Don't just throw money away at the market just because you want to be, you just want to get your feet wet today. Okay, making sure you're following your permission-based trading system is an absolutely crucial thing. Again, guys, I'm going to thank you very much for joining me on this wonderful Monday morning for me. Please, if you haven't already, go ahead and go to the link right here, tradewithufos.com/Boyan. There's some, ask the questions. We'll get them answered if you have any comments or anything. And of course, you can get your Trade with UFOs membership. They're free. It's a completely free membership that you can get by signing up on this link here as well. Activate it. Again, you lose nothing with this. On top of that, I believe you will also be getting our daily newsletters, which they give you a bit of an insight, kind of like your morning coffee and newspaper reading that comes with this free membership. So again, thank you very much for joining me on this wonderful Monday morning for me. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will see you again. I believe it is in 2 weeks. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.